portion, unless you don't mind.
Yeah.
I have a release, actually, I guess I can. Like, oh, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, sure.
So did you get my email?
I got the one, I think you sent stuff from your file.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like from your profile or stuff that you had written up.
Well, it's both.
Yeah.
Would you like water?
I didn't, a little bit if you.
Oh, well, I have bottles here.
Yeah.
They're still warm.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah. You just set it wherever, on the bench or whatever if you want.
Yeah, so I didn't look. I started reading through that, but I was thinking that maybe it was stuff that was in the court file already or some notions. Okay.
Some of it is.
So I read a lot of that, and so I think I kind of have a sense of what's happened so far. My interest was just in that you have this like really public display out here, right? And I think people are seeing it and projecting all kinds of things onto it.
Sure.
So I guess I kind of want to talk to you about that, about what the message is out there that you're putting out, and what you're trying to communicate with that.
Well,
I know there's kind of a long story.
It could be, and I don't mind telling it. I just, how far do you want me to go back, I guess? I mean, I can make it fairly, I've told it so many times now that I can make it pretty succinct, but.
Maybe we can sort of go back and forth. I mean, it sounds like there was something that happened. You were working at Swan Lake Grocery, and from what you just sent me, it sounded like you had approached management about being harassed by a female employee in some way, which I was going to ask you what that was, and then it sounded like she then made her own complaint that you were harassing her, and they sort of...
Not exactly, no.
Oh, okay.
She just started, she had already, it was already a pattern with her to nitpick about other people's performance at work behind their back anyway. She just upped it like to the nth degree after I called her out on a bold-faced lie and informed management and all that.
What kind of, when you're using the term harassment, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, I'll tell you what was happening when I called her out, which is a good example, I suppose.
Can I actually record a conversation just for my own reference?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I sort of assumed that you would, actually.
I don't usually end up using it, or rarely end up using it, but it's good to have this backup.
Yeah, whatever. I'll just some, and I'm gonna smoke here. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
And if you want some, let me know.
I'm terrible at pots.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I use it medicinally, and I use it every day, and it almost doesn't even affect me.
Right.
Cognitively. So, you're good.
Yeah, thank you.
What was going on was, well, I actually have to preface this a little bit too. I have the YouTube channel that I started, Puppetgut TV, and I was just doing silly puppet videos, and I started getting trolled by a gang of online trolls, led by a guy named Gorilla Bear Tech, Tony something, aka.
Is this before the stuff that's on the grocery?
Well, it's leading up to it.
Okay.
And so what happened is I was getting trolled. They were trying to take my YouTube channel down, and flagging my videos, all kinds of stuff. So I started fighting back, and this guy threatened me very explicitly. Said he was going to come up here and knock on my door and beat the hell out of me. So I approached the sheriff's department with an ad and just let them know. I said, no big deal, but just want to let you know. And they said, thanks, yeah, it's good to keep us appraised. The deputy I spoke to, I don't remember his name. I have it written down, but he was real nice about it. And that was that. They kept coming at me, So I asked at work, I told one of the managers, Kelly, and also had a conversation with the owner, Rob, about being late sometimes, and or taking extra breaks, or not extra breaks so much as longer breaks, because I was having to do things like during the day is when a lot of the activity was happening on YouTube. And he was like uploading, doing live stuff, and saying all this stuff, and then taking the videos down. So I had to catch them sometimes as he was doing them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it required, and they were both fine with it. You've been a perfect employee. Yeah, sure, no problem. I shook hands with Rob. He says, as long as you're loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you.
Okay.
If you watch the video Swan Lake Grocery Equals Harassment, it's kind of a long one.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one. I watched a few of them.
If you Google Puppetgut TV, I think it's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah,
it's my most watched video, which I'm glad of because, anyway. So that was going on. So I was being late, but I was off the clock. When you take a break there, you punch out. So it's and again, one of the head managers was explicitly clear with it. The owner was explicitly clear with it. So that was going on, and then so I called Roberta out on that had been going on for a couple of weeks, and what Roberta started doing, the woman that was harassing me, on the particular day, what she did, I came to work, and I don't remember if I was a little late or I took extra long time on a break or something.
Yeah.
And I said something about how the management is watching me like a hawk. They're thinking of firing me. They're going to be cleaning house. The deli manager had just left like a week or two before, and the new manager who already worked in the store in the meat department. Bear with me, sorry, I'm going to be short of it.
No, take your time. It's probably.
Anyway, so management was changing over, and she was saying things like, they're watching you, management. They're changing house, so they're gonna clean house, and which just seemed ridiculous. It didn't sound like something they would do at the store. They're always looking for help. It's and so I knew she was just BSing and just trying to stress me out, but she kept doing it and doing it.
Right.
And there's another employee there, Chris. I forget Chris's last name right now. But she was there and witnessed this going on. So eventually she came at me with this like 3 times or so. And so I said, okay, look, Roberta, just so I'm on the same page with whoever this is that's complaining, can you tell me who it is, and I'll talk to them, and then we'll all be on the same page, because I cleared these latenesses with Rob, cleared them with Kelly. I don't know why this manager is saying all this stuff.
And is Roberta the manager? No,
Roberta is the co-worker that was harassing me, one of them. Her daughter, Christy, harassed me for, like 2 weeks after I started working there. She just suddenly acted like she hated me. I don't know why.
Just
out of the blue.
Giving you grief about stuff? Or
yeah, just really. And it wasn't, she was just being really mean and snarky and, just, like that kind of attitude. People, other like Susan, who works in the deli, noticed at one time and called her out on it.
Right.
Even it wasn't just in my head or something like, this is a real thing that was happening. And it was also, she did it to other people too, but I was one of her targets. And she was worse than her mom. Her mom would alternate between being friendly and nice, and then she'd target somebody, and she would rotate around, like she'd target somebody for a couple of weeks, and so it was my week or whatever, But anyway, so I asked her about that, who was the manager that was telling you all this, so that I can approach that manager and clear this up. And she stops, and she thinks about it for a bit, which I wouldn't think you would have to, but she did. And she says, oh, you know who it was? It was Nancy Larrabee. And you know what? Nancy Larrabee's on vacation this week. And so you won't be able to talk to her. Oh, well. I mean, I'm parodying her, but that was essentially, it was materially what she said. And, okay, so I was going to let it drop, whatever, When, 20 minutes later, Nancy Larrabee walks in the store. She is on vacation, but she walks in the store to do some shopping. So I approach Nancy, who is the other head manager, in addition to Kelly Ward. And I say, I tell her what Graham's been saying. And ask, where am I in, what's going on here? She says, I never said any of that stuff. She's just lying. And I said, okay, well, okay. And Nancy had some sort of conversation. She went over and talked to Roberta. I don't know what I wasn't part of that conversation. I don't know what it was. Excuse me a second. So, then, the rest of the shift was uneventful, basically. Then I come in the next day, and Roberta, Graham, everybody calls her Graham. I'll probably refer to her as Graham sometimes.
Like grandma?
Yeah, because her granddaughter worked there, and her daughter worked there, and her grandson worked there. So a lot of the families worked there.
Yeah.
So she was known as Graham.
Okay.
Anyway, Graham, the next day when I come in to do my shift, Graham is like overly friendly, trying to make up for, I obviously embarrassed her. I'm guessing. Well, I don't know that, but it would seem to me I would be embarrassed in that situation. So, of course, I wouldn't get myself into that situation in the first place. But anyway, she's being overly friendly. She has some food that she brought in or somebody brought in, and she's touting it. And I said, Graham, you know what? What happened yesterday changed things. I'm sorry. But unless it's about work, I'm just not interested. I'll work with you. I'll be professional, courteous, polite, all that stuff. Yeah. We'll just work. We'll get through the shift. But just if it's not to do with work, please just, I'm not interested. Right. I thought I was very adult about it. And she comes back at me with, oh, wait, it wasn't actually Nancy Larrabee. It was actually Nancy Robinson, another manager who works there. And it wasn't her directly. She tells me this big convoluted tale about how whatever nonsense. Right. I didn't really listen, honestly. I just waited for her to get done. And I said, are you done? She said, yes. And I said, well, that hasn't changed anything. So let's just get through the shift. That hasn't changed anything as far as I'm concerned. So let's just get through, I'm still willing to work with you. We'll get through the shift and be professionals and that.